How's everyone doing? Welcome to our live stream tonight. I got Matt here from Armchair Handicapping. How you doing today, Matt?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
Good, really good. Got some new technology I'm breaking out on this video. So I'm trying to look at this mic, which is now nowhere near my screen. So I apologize if I'm a little bit of an amateur, but got some new technology for the video, and I'm excited to handicap this card with you, Matt.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Interesting one, I should say. I don't know about good. It's a couple chalky races for sure.
Yeah, it's very chalky. Or what I should say is the favorites are legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be difficult to identify which ones will lose, which ones will win, because most of these favorites look pretty legitimate. And then it's hard to figure out who would beat them. But we're gonna do our best. But one thing you do have to, and with my charts, the charts do tell the story. And we'll show some screenshots as we go through here when a favorite is legitimate and when he isn't. So that's something that you got to trust and know when to pass and how to leverage those favorites. This is the kind of day where you could hammer a $20 straight pick 3. Okay. You don't even play around with spreading. You really get 2 or 3 strong opinions and you really leverage those.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we're going to go through the charts together. You got any big Thanksgiving plans, Matt?
Not really. Just kind of hanging with the family. I might try to swing by Churchill Downs the day after on Black Friday for the Clark Stakes.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's pretty much it. How about you?
Got family coming into town. Going to drink some beer, wine, have some great food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the Clark is going to be on Friday. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. It's scheduled for Black Friday, I believe.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what Midnight Bourbon does in that race.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that horse a lot, and I think that horse has a lot of potential to improve. Not necessarily in this race, but next year.
Correct.
Okay, well, let's get into the card, and we're going to start off with race 1. I'll let you go ahead and start us off on this race, Matt.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
So this one, to start off, is like you were talking about. This is going to be a favorite that it's going to be tough to beat. Social Circle, I think, going off at 5-2. Right now, I've got that across my chart as a ranking 1 across the board. So really, I think this one's going to be Ford's race to lose. But if I did have to go with a second choice, I'd have to go with the number 2, Leah Rowe. I think they've got some significant late speed, which should help out. Relatively fast pace at 8.5 furlongs. So I think if the pace doesn't go well for Social Circle, I think Leah Rowe is going to swing back on the stretch and take this one.
Okay. Let me, that's good analysis here. Let me show this. How's that coming through?
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right. So first of all, I'm showing my charts. My program that I wrote automatically analyzes the past performances. Okay. Digs into it in excruciating detail, much more than a human's eyes could ever do, and actually gives you the probability that horses are going to win. Now, this horse, the number 4, Social Circle, is on top on my sheet and gets the K+ grade. That's the highest grade you can get. Gets the most value of $16 and has straight 1s, 5 1s in the rank column, and then even gets a little spot play designation. This horse probably has a 50% chance of winning this race. I don't know what the price we're going to get. We might get higher than that, but this is a very, very strong favorite.
Right.
I totally agree with you, by the way, Matt, that Leah Rowe is the next horse to take. The other thing I look at just as a sanity check, especially when I'm doing these videos, is, and I'm not telling you use these, but I use some speed figures from Thorograph just as a sanity check.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't always do that, but for these videos in particular, I am. And Leah Rowe definitely is the other horse to use.
Right.
And then third would be Miss Commish. But yeah, it looks like if you're going to start off at pick 5, you may not want to do this, but you should probably single that 4.
I agree.
All right, let's move on to the second race. I'll go first here since I already got the screen up.
Alrighty.
And let me just kind of scroll down just a tad. All right, so now I guess I want to point out on the sheet there's this DS column, which is for distance and surface, and also tells you what kind of race it is. So this is made in special weight, and then it gives you a little score here from 0 to 5, and that 0 means it's an awful betting race, and it's a betting race that I don't have a lot of confidence in wagering. So that's the first thing you got to realize. The second thing is you see these 4 horses with 0s. Those 4 horses are first-time starters. So obviously I have very limited data to work with. However, it is interesting that those 2 of those horses here are 5 to 1 are sorted ahead of the favorite. Okay, so I do find that interesting. I think this race is pretty wide open. And this is a race I would definitely try to beat the favorite. And I would look at a couple horses here. First of all, I would look at this top horse, Miss Matchmaker, okay, who's got that A+ that's on top of the sheet. But, of course, that is a first-time starter. And the other horse I'd look at is this Landed Gentry. And the reason I'm liking Landed Gentry is Landed Gentry has the 2-3. So it's probably making second or third start lifetime and is eligible to improve. And then if you look at the pace projection, or the early speed was 76, the late speed was 74. Been doing some studying on pace analysis, and when horses have really close early and late speed, they are likely to improve when they stretch out. This horse is clearly stretching out, only gets a 0.7 over here on PFTS percentage, and probably stretching out a distance to 7 furlongs, and likely will do good for that horse. So the 2 horses I like are Landed Gentry and Miss Matchmaker. What are you thinking, Matt?
So I'm siding with you on Landed Gentry. I've got that as my A1 horse, and typically when it comes to these maiden special weights and these races where the horses aren't as experienced, my model can be a bit skewed. So just due to lack of data from the data file I use, but what I do sometimes is I'll take out pretty much majority of the races from the past performance data and kind of focus on level one stats with like jockey trainer stats. So yeah, I've got Landed Gentry as my number 1, but my number 2 is actually my friend Amy.
Okay.
I know that's third on your chart, but it does have an A ranking, and it's got a couple high ranks as well. So
yeah.
I think I have to lean those 2 horses, but I agree with you. This race is pretty wide open, and I wouldn't be throwing too much money on this race.
Yeah. Now you got to take those ranks with a little bit of grain of salt because you've only got 3 horses that have raced before.
Right.
And so some of the horses don't have an opportunity to get a rank as a result of that. But I totally understand what you're saying, and those 2 are logical selections. But I think this is going to come down to 3-5. We'll see if your 2 can get in there also. All right, we're moving on to race. And by the way, that is definitely a race you could spread in.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move on to race 3. Now, Matt, I saw on the Twitter you've started some sort of email group or service. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I recently, I think it was just last week, I started like an email group where I'm basically sending out my race charts similar to what your product is. I just send it out free to everybody on that email list, just for one of the tracks I'm covering that day, just kind of as a test to see if anybody likes it, if it's useful, if it helps people learn how to kind of start a handicapping process of their own. But yeah, my main goal with that is just kind of to give another tool for people to use when they're doing their handicapping. Feel free to anyone can DM me on Twitter if they want to get added. But like I said, it's free for one set of charts, and then a very very cheap option to buy the charts for each day. And really, it's no more than a cup of coffee, the cost of a cup of coffee. So I hope to get to your level one day, but I'm still very early on, so I'm pretty green still.
Yeah, I'm new too. I've been doing this 15 months, but or maybe it's 16 now. But anyway, loving it. Great group of people I'm meeting. All right. So, what did you think of race 3?
Race 3, I think this one's kind of similar to race 1. It's going to be up to the favorite to lose that. And that favorite, Thomas Shelby, it's got some significant speed ratings.
Yeah.
So really, and the rest of the field, I should say, is pretty slow pace wise. So I think if number one's able to control that pace, it'll take it wire to wire.
Mm-hmm.
But another horse I'm eyeing is the number 6, Intrepid Heart.
Yeah.
Similar to race 1, it's got a significant late pace or late speed. So if something does happen to where Thomas Shelby, the number 1 horse, kind of uses too much energy in the beginning of the race, kind of fighting with that number 3 horse, Leader of Men, I think the 6 horse could swing in late in the stretch and kind of steal this one.
Okay. Yeah, good handicapping. So far, we're in pretty good alignment. You can see I got Thomas Shelby on top of the chart. And the interesting thing is, if you look at the energy column, the 96 for Thomas Shelby really towers over this field.
Right.
Horse also gets a 1.1 in PFDS percentage. Anything 1 or greater is superb. So the horse fits the race perfectly and is by far the fastest. By the way, he's an E8. There's no one else in the race that is an E, and his early speed is dominant, which means the horse is going to be able to, just gallop up there and pull away late. I don't see how that horse loses. I agree with you. The 6 is probably the horse that comes second, and that just is extraordinarily chalky. I mean, if you wanted to, you could just play a straight 1-6 exacta.
Yeah.
And I'd have no problem with that. You might be able to get 3 to 1 if you did something like that, 3 or 4 to 1. It's very chalky, maybe a pass race. You probably got a single to 1 in any serial wagers. And I totally see that race same as you.
So yeah, going back to your energy comment, you said it has a 96, and then the next closest one's I think an 89 in both Intrepid, Leader of Men. I was reading up on your blog again on your website. Isn't there like a delta of 5 in that energy column is a significant factor to look for?
For sure. 5 is significant. 10's even more significant. It's not a factor that I've mathematically analyzed.
Right.
I have found that if you are well back in that category, and 5 is significant. No way I'm touching you at a short price.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't mind a horse that's well back at a good price, especially if they're eligible to improve. But that energy column, if there's a big delta and you're a short price, that's a big warning sign for me. So yeah, I mean, I just don't see anyone else winning this race. And the morning line's 3 to 5, so it looks like the handicapper agrees with us.
Yeah.
All right, race 4. Now, race 4 is interesting. Last race was an allowance race going 8.5 furlongs. This race is a short sprint going 5.5 furlongs. That's fun. Maiden special weight, gets a betting score of 1, which is quite lousy. But one of the the top choice on my sheet at 5-2 morning line is coming off a 10-month layoff. That's what that 10 means.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but I'm not excited about playing horses at 5-2 off 10-month layoff.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
So the horse obviously is good enough to win, but there's no way to know if the horse is ready to win. Okay. And so I'm staying away from that horse. The horse is a little slow in my energy. Now the horse underneath it, Oscarette, that's a 6-5 favorite. Gets the 2-3 form cycle, so the horse is probably going to improve. It's got 9 trainer, that's the best in the race. 8 jockey, that's the best combination. Great early speed, towers over the field in early speed. And with the 5.5 furlong race, it's even better than 6. Okay, so early speed is critical. This horse is going to get the lead. Looks like it's the fastest. And it's going to be very, very tough to run down. So I like the 3 a lot. Unfortunately, that's 6-5 favorite. Then the horse I don't really like any of these other horses down below, but at least that Salute the Flag is a first-time starter at 6-1, and you just don't know what you're going to get. But if I was going in serial wagers, I would use Salute the Flag. Now, over in the PFDS odds for Salute the Flag, you'll see that 2.2. That's the lowest in the field. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't know if that horse is that good. But what I do is, for first-time starters, is I create a placeholder for that horse, like an average placeholder. And then I put all the other horses in the race. And when a 6-1 horse drops down to 2.2, that tells me the rest of the field is quite weak. Okay.
Right.
So I think that 2, at least a 2, has not proven they're a loser yet. And, maybe the odds will drift up, gets the B+ grade. I would definitely use the 2 and the 3 together in any serial wagers, and I would play against the 1. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I have to side with you there. I've got Oscarette as my A1 and April in Paris as my A2, obviously. Those are the 2 horses that are pretty significant in my charts, but like we were talking about before we went live, my model can be kind of skewed in these first-time starter horses and stuff like that, just due to lack of data. Which I am working on a workaround there as well, but that's still in the works and hasn't been incorporated yet. But yeah, I'm leaning the 3 and the 1. I do like the 2, just reading the past performances and seeing kind of the works it's been doing. But going off my model, I'm eyeing High Con, the number 7 horse. I know that's kind of down in your chart a little, but I think just based on past performances, what that horse has done so far, I'm not saying it'll win, but I'm saying it'll definitely be in the money. So if you do any longer exotics, I'd be sure to include that.
Is that Foolery?
It's High Con number 7.
We're looking at different ways. Oh, I'm sorry. I moved the page. Oh, okay. Yeah, High Con. Sorry. Yeah. 3-month layoff. 9 trainer, 7 jockey, maybe. Yeah. All right, good. All right, let's move on to race 5. I'll let you start us off, Matt.
Alrighty. Let me find it on my sheets. So this one, I saw your K+ rating, which, like you were saying earlier, that's one of the highest ratings. But I'm really eyeing the number 7, Rebobber.
Okay.
I've got that as my significant A1 horse.
Okay.
I just think the way that this race is going to be ran, I think it kind of favors that or its run style as an EP4.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be sitting right behind the leader and kind of make a final push in that stretch. And also, it's dropping down back to a mile. I think it was a mile and an eighth its last time out.
Okay.
And it did have a little late rally in that race. So I'm thinking dropping down to that mile distance is going to help. And it's also a drop in class, which is huge.
Yeah.
But I do like your 5 horse with that K plus rating. It's been in the money the last 3 races, and also has a drop in class. So I think I'm going with the 7 and the 5.
Yeah, looking at the sheet here, I think the 5 is really tough, and the 5 has that 2-3 form cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is cheap made and glamour, so first of all, that's a humongous caveat. Anything could happen, but 2-3 form cycle, the horse is likely to improve. And look at that trainer score of 12 is so huge, much bigger than the 7s and 6s. And I've talked about this in my blog, but I set the math up so that 3 points is like a 50% reduction in ability. So this trainer obviously has some angles working for it in this race. Okay. Of course, like I said before, my charts read the past performances, and something is very aligned for this trainer in this race. Otherwise, there's no way he gets to 12. And K plus. And then, again, I mentioned I look at Thorograph. This horse is dominant on Thorograph. Nobody else is close. I don't see how this horse loses. But it's made and claiming. All right. And so I'm going to look a little bit at this one horse. Like you said, there is some pace in the race. Look how many E horses are in the race.
Oh, yeah.
E3, E4, E7, E6. We'll see how the track is playing. There could be some pace battle. It could fall apart. And the 1 is a closer. Okay. And it might set up a humongous morning line of 15-1. Horse has $15 of value over there on the right. That's the best in the race. And according to my odds line, the horse is a decent bet at about 5-1. Mm-hmm. So I think you could take I really like that 5. I would use the 5 for sure in any serial wagers. But if I was just betting this race to win on its own, I'd take the 1.
Okay.
All right, race 6. So I'll go ahead and start us off here. You can see we got gigging on top. Gigging makes complete sense. This is a small field. Only 6 horses in the race. Not a ton of pace. I'm a little concerned with Gigging's running style. According to this, it's an S0. So, a little bit of a concern there. Okay. But horse is an overlay of 5-2, notwithstanding the running style commentary. So if I'm going serial, I want to have another horse that maybe has a different running style, maybe a more forwardly paced running style. The 2 certainly fits that bill, makes complete sense. However, I don't like that 0.5 in the PFDS percentage column for a 9-5 shot. Okay, so there's a few red flags. That said, the horse goes from 6-1 on PFDS odds to 2.9. So the horse actually may benefit from maybe a return to a more ideal surface and distance. Good 2-3 form cycle, good trainer, good jockey. Nothing wrong with that 2 horse. And then you got the speed horse, the 92. I always like to look at who is the fastest horse early, and that is American Tattoo, the 4 horse. And look at that PFTS percentage of 1.1. Horse fits the race perfectly. The pace is the pace setup is perfect. So I could easily see going 2-4-5 in here in serial wagers and just trying to survive. Not a great race to bet on.
Right, I agree with you there. And actually, the 2, 4, 5 are all my A-tier horses in this one too.
Okay.
My model spit out number 2 as my A1, but like you said, I'm kind of leaning against that horse. I really like the number 4 American Tattoo, but I am a bit nervous about its late speed, especially being an 8.5 furlong race. So I'm leaning gigging too as well, just due to the quick pace this race is going to have between kind of a 3-4 horse fighting for the lead. But yeah, I think I'd have to go 5-4-2 in this race in that
Okay.
order.
Okay. Well, why do you, I don't see it as a fast pace. Now, it's very hard to predict.
Right, right.
A kind of pace analysis is very hard to predict. I don't see a fast pace in this race at all. And I think this is a 2-turn race, not a 1-turn mile. This is a 2-turn race. So I don't think they're going to go that fast, but we'll see. All right, race 7. I'll let you start us off.
Alrighty. So this is another one similar to race one and race 3, kind of where we have a heavy favorite that's kind of standing out from the rest of the field. I think if this number 4 horse, Bag Boss, can control the pace, I think it'll take it wire to wire, especially being at 5.5 furlongs. And I saw you had a K rating on your chart for that one.
Yep.
But I think if I did have to go with a second horse, I like the number 6 Habitus. I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
It's kind of a P3, so it's kind of a late presser run style, but with that 3 Quirin point rating, I think it'll kind of hang near the lead. And if the pace is slow, I think it could make a nice run in the stretch to kind of fight for the win.
Yeah. I'm with you on Bag Boss to 4. I mean, looks like he just towers over the field. This is maiden special weight, 4th maiden race in the first 6 races. Again, so sorry, we didn't pick the best card.
Yeah, that's my fault.
It's no one's fault. It's Thursday racing.
Yeah, I'm so biased with Churchill Downs being my home track.
Yeah, but this horse looks like he towers over the field. 92 energy on my energy, much faster than anything else.
Oh yeah,
and maiden special weight. So, what's been going on for the last 6 months? The horse has been on the bench for 6 months. Has good workouts coming into this. Gets a Q in my fitness column for workouts. But that 6-month layoff, it's got to have me a little concerned at 4 to 5 morning line. I mean, I agree. The horse absolutely towers over this field. Again, I wish I didn't even have to bet on the race. You got to use the 4 defensively. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go for this first-time starter. Again, I feel like I'm using all these first-time starters, but Gus Piazza, I love the name Piazza. That means like a square or plaza, something like that in Italy. I don't know if you've ever been to Italy, but I have many times, and it's amazing country. But that 11 for the trainer is very solid for this first-time starter. Gets a decent jockey with the 7, and the 2-1 on PFTS odds is very close second to the favorite, and then 1.6 on best odds. So the horse gets a B+ and $27 of value. I mean, I'm going to go with that first-time starter. Hope the 4's got some issues, but I would use 2 deep, 4-7. I'm not going deep in a lot of these races, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
It's just not the kind of day to do that. All right, race 8. Race 8. Man, it's just every single race, the chalk is on top. I hate when I see orange in the morning line column on top of the chart. I hate it.
Yeah.
Because it's favorites, okay? And this is a 2-horse race. I can't put anyone else on top. 89 and 86 on energy. No one else is really that close. They would all have to jump up. The 3rd horse on my chart is coming off an 8-month layoff. Both of them get an A grade. Both are much faster on Thoroughgraph. And, tough to pick between the 2 of them. I would go 2 deep. It's great because you get the E8 early speed horse, 95 early speed, best early speed in the race. But if it goes too fast, then you get the S3 coming from behind. I mean, 4-1. If you're playing in the late serials, 4-1 locks this race up. What do you think?
I'm definitely siding with you there on those two horses. I mean, you pretty much hit on the head there. I think one that I'm kind of eyeing, and I know this is actually where our charts don't agree.
Okay.
But that Tell Me on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's pretty low in yours, but with all these horses and the high quartering points, I think this is going to be a quicker race.
Yep.
And this is a E7 horse actually, but it has shown some significant late speed, and excuse me, it has shown some significant late speed, and it actually has a pace projection ranking of 1 in my chart.
Okay.
Which I was a little shocked and kind of dug into that deeper. But yeah, I kind of like the 5 here. Tell Me on a Sunday.
Okay.
But I'd have to agree with you. It's pretty much going to be that 4-1. I think the 5 is the long shot to play here, though.
Okay. All right, we're on a final race of the day, the 5th maiden in 9 races. This time maiden claiming, and I like to go be deeper in the finales, and this is a good place to go deeper. If you look at the form cycle, every single horse in the race practically, except 2, has the 2-3 form cycle. So they're all making their second or third start lifetime. I didn't check the conditions, but I bet maybe these are 2-year-olds. And they're stretching out. I think this is a pretty wide open race. I would be looking to go probably 5 deep. You could even maybe grab the 11. You could even maybe go 6 deep. But so I really don't have a top selection, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I do like the 5 more than the 3. On top of the chart and gets $8 of value. And I do like that 7 horse quite a bit. That 7 horse is actually faster on Thoroughgraph than the other 3. But this is a race I'd be looking to go a little bit deeper. I'm actually curious what your opinion is. Maybe you got a better opinion than I do.
So no, I kind of have to agree. You kind of have to spread in this race. My model, I've got two A's and the rest B's. The 2 A's are the 3 and the 10. The 10 I know is a little surprising. I think it's a 5-1 morning line odds. It's got second rated prime power if you're using Brisnet PPs. But like I said earlier, my model is a bit skewed on these maiden races with not a lot of data. So I rely heavy on some trainer and jockey data. But yeah, I think I'd have to go 4 deep on this race. I'd get my 2 A's, the 3 and the 10, and then I'd go 5 and 7. So I think we are lining up pretty same here, but yeah, 5, 3, 10, and 7 for me.
Those 4 I think are absolute must uses, and then budget permitting, depending on how you're constructing your tickets, maybe use the 8, maybe use the 11. But this is the kind of race that something crazy could happen. And, if you want, you could, have a backup ticket here where maybe you go all, and then in an earlier leg, earlier couple legs, maybe you take a stand and, single a couple other races to give you a chance to go all here on maybe a backup ticket. But yeah, good discussion, Matt. I enjoyed it. It's the second time we've done this, and look forward to continuing to engage with you on Twitter. Any final parting thoughts on the call?
Not really. I think we pretty much covered this card pretty well, chalk and all. I think we kind of discussed where there's opportunities to beat that chalk and where sometimes you just can't. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Second time, like you said, it was even better than the first. I think I've already learned more from last time, so I feel like I'm a little bit more informative here with my decisions. But Yeah, again, I appreciate you having me on. Had a blast, and
Good.
look forward to keeping in touch with you.
Yeah, we'll be seeing each other around, and for sure we're going to see each other at Keeneland in the spring. But you take care. You enjoy your Thanksgiving, and everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us on the call. Good luck tomorrow at Churchill. Don't waste a lot of money trying to beat heavy favorites. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah. See ya.